Hi, I'm Kate Gillespie. This is a backbending class that will take you also through some inversions near the end of the practice. There will be a playlist posted for you down in the description of this video, should you want some music to move along to. And if you have two blocks, they'll come in really handy for a few things today. If you don't have blocks, grab a couple of pillows from your couch or a bolster if you have one, or you can even roll up a blanket into a makeshift bolster, because we'll be starting lying down on your back in a supported back bend. Turn to face the front of your mat with your props handy. Take your legs straight out in front of you in Dandasana. And then if you have a bolster or that rolled blanket, take it behind you so that when you lie back, your lower back isn't on it, but the upper back and the back of your head is. Those of you who have two blocks, you'll have them both on their second highest setting. So place one of them, it's going to go right underneath your shoulder blades. Set it up, and you'll need to adjust, I'm sure, as you come back so that there's a block right underneath the shoulder blades, the back of the heart. The other block on the same height, medium setting, goes under the back of your head so that your head and your heart are the same height. If you need to have your head a little higher, you're welcome to roll up a little towel and put it underneath the back of your head. Grab hold of opposite elbows over your head. And see if you can get the elbow tips right into the center of the palms. With your hands, pull your upper arm bones back behind you and drop your arms around your ears. Now, if you're really flexible and that's super easy for you to do, instead of your arms dropping lower than your head, you lift your arms up slightly so that everybody is working to get the arms around the ears. Give the legs a gentle hug in towards each other without overdoing that. And then heavy the leg bones, heavy the pelvis. Close your eyes and begin to deepen your breathing in and out through your nose. And feel the breath travel on your inhale through your nostrils down the front of the body. As you exhale, soften over the props that are beneath you, soften into the floor. And then change the cross of your forearms so the other one's on top. Give again that little tug of the hands of the arm bones back, and find whether it's appropriate for you to drop your arms or lift your arms to frame your skull. Just make sure that all sides of your neck feel even. There's no tossing of the head back. There's also no loss of the front of your throat. And then as you release opposite elbows, slide your arms down by your sides. Bring them in quite close to you. Bend your elbows so it's just your elbows on the floor. Your fingers are pointing up to the ceiling. You might have heard this called robot arms before. The palms are facing each other. Elbows are on the floor. Move your shoulders away from your ears. And then press your elbows strongly into the ground. Press the back of your skull gently into its block. And see if you can actually lift your shoulder blades up off the other block. And draw your shoulder blades first away from your ears, and then feel a little heat in behind the heart as the shoulder blades lift the upper back up and away from the prop. And you put a really strong back bend into your upper spine. So this should feel quite strong as you press down through elbows, through the head, and lift up. Now firm your legs to the center, press your thigh bones down, and see if you can lift up a little bit higher the chest off of the block. Take another breath in, and as you exhale, relax. Relax the forearms down to the floor, soften again over the blocks, allow the legs to be easy, sleepy. And then if your arms went quite wide, bring them in to be more narrow. Plant the palms. You're welcome to back bend out of this, but I'm going to tuck the chin into the chest, so roll the head and neck up, slide the hands back one at a time so that I have leverage of the palms to push up into Dandasana. And then from there, reach back behind you, grab hold of the blocks. Just place one on either side of the front of your mat. Cross at your shins so that you can roll over and come to kneeling. Come to kneeling at the front of your mat and stand on your shins as you grab one of your blocks. Hold your block in between your two hands so the hands look like prayer with a spacer. And then take that block right to the center of the chest. I did this in a class with one of my favorite teachers, Nikki Villala, the other day. I'm sharing it with you. Thanks, Nikki. Slip your hands a little farther up the block so the fingers curl around the top edge of the block. And then find your leg. So for a moment, stick your bum out a bit and feel your anterior tilt, sort of overdoing your lower back overarching. And then do the opposite, where you send your sitting bones down towards the backs of your knees. You lift the front of your hip bones up. You feel your glutes activate and put a posterior tilt in your pelvis, a little tuck of the tail. And then keep that feeling and start to lift your heart up into the block and have just gentle pressure of your fingers pressing down on the block. If this is uncomfortable for you, just have your hands in prayer and the heels of your hands on your sternum. And visualize like you did with your elbows on the floor, your elbows pointing back and your chest lifting up into the block. And then lift the block up towards the ceiling on an inhale. Take the block behind your head as you exhale. And keep the feeling of the block in the chest as you lift the heart up towards the sky. But now use the block that's behind your head to drop your head into it. Keep your elbows quite narrow, like you're doing headstand or forearm stand. And from your shin bones pressing down, feel from the fronts of your knees, the thighs lifting up, the front of the hip bones rising, the chest rising, the head lifting and going back. And then on your next breath in, come up to vertical, lift your block up over your head, and sit on your heels as you exhale and replace the block. Close your eyes, rest your hands in your lap. And bring your hands to your heart. Connect the base of your thumbs to the base of your sternum, the same place you had the block. And with just a slight amount of that similar effort, lift your heart gently up into your hands. Take your outer shoulders back. Let's exhale completely. And feel a deep breath in. Expand your rib basket 360 degrees. And as you exhale, it's a gentle contraction from the outside back in. Again, inhale from the center, expand outwards. And exhale from the outside, come back in. And you'll keep this steady rhythm of breathing with you as you come to your hands and your knees, tabletop position. Once you get into tabletop, round your back right into a cat spine. So go right into cat back and stay there. So far, practice has been only the opposite, only extension of back bending. So spend a little bit of time here. Press your shins down, your knees down, press your hands down, and round the entire length of your spine, from your tailbone tucking under to your chin tucking in. Now, instead of this just being one big dramatic movement into a back bend, very slowly start to articulate from the tailbone beginning to tilt up. So you feel the back bend beginning in your lower back and traveling to the middle of your back, traveling into your upper back, and eventually your neck participates too. The whole spine's in extension. Hold it there. Bend your elbows slightly, and as you point your elbows back, feel that same fire behind your shoulder blades. Send your heart forward through the gate of your shoulders pulling back. Keep that as you straighten your arms. And then the same thing that you did getting into the back bend will take you out of it. So start with your tailbone and tuck under and feel the rounding begin in the lower back, and then the middle of your back, and then the upper back, and then eventually chin in towards the chest. Hold there in cat spine, breathe. And see if we can make this a little bit more fluid and go through that same motion on the breath. So stay here and exhale completely. As you inhale from your tailbone, start a back bend that at the top of the breath eventually reaches your head. Collarbones wide, chest forward. Then reverse that as you exhale. Tuck your tail under and round the entire length of your spine. Chin comes in last. One more time. Inhale all the way into extension. Find that same fire behind your heart. Exhale, round in. And then find neutral spine as you inhale right in between those two extremes. Tuck your toes, and as you exhale, hover your knees just an inch off the floor, hovering tabletop. As you reach the crown of your head forward, reach your sitting bones farther backwards. Press firmly into your hands. Sharpen the pillars of your arms. And then one at a time, take one leg back into a plank pose, toes tucked on the floor. Take the other leg back as well. So you're in a high plank, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Bend your right knee a lot and see how low you can get your left heel, and keep that. Shift your hips over to one side so you find a different angle for the back of your left leg, and then shift your hips over to the other side. As your hips come to center, switch. See if you can bend your left knee enough to get your right heel down or closer to the floor at least, and then wag your tail a little side to side. Have a different experience in the back of your leg. And then bring it to the center. Give both heels a lift. Take an inhale as you do it. Bend both knees as you exhale, and as you root your palms, inhale your hips a little higher. Work your legs maybe a little straighter as you exhale. Your heels may descend towards the floor. Start to walk slowly forward, the feet up towards the hands. Take several little steps. Keep your feet in their own lanes, so on train track, so that when your feet get to the front of your mat, they're hip width and parallel. Fold to your legs. Take a halfway lift and breathe in. Fold forward and breathe out. Rise to stand. You can roll or you can hinge, but lift your arms all the way up at the top of your breath. Hook your thumbs up there. Side bend over to the right as you exhale. And see if you can make this purely a side bend. So there's no back bending, there's no rounding. You're just starting to get into the lateral lines of the body. Use an inhale to come back to the center, and then switch as you exhale. This is a practice primarily focused on the front of you, the back of you, but a little bit sprinkled in today to open up the sides. Come on back up on your inhale. Forward fold. Exhale, touch the floor. Just take a halfway lift on your breath in. Step your left foot back as you exhale. Lower your left knee, point your back toes, and rise on your inhale, Anjali Asana. You're welcome to keep your hands apart, shoulder width. I'm going to teach today with palms pressing in prayer. Totally up to you. Find your front foot and your back shin and pull them together. Particularly focus on the pulling of the back shin forward. And as the back shin pulls forward, lift the front of your hip bones up. Lift your chest up and imagine a string attached from your hands to your heart. Lift with your hands that string up and pop your chest up. Gaze up through your hands. Take another breath in. Downward facing dog. Land your hands and step back as you breathe out. Travel forward to a high plank. Breathe in. And even if it's just for this first one, put your knees down. Exhale in plank. Shift forward on your inhale. Lower slowly as you exhale all the way to the ground. Point your toes. Lift your right leg. Stretch your right leg farther back. Put the foot down. Do the same with your left. Now stay down with your chest and your head and lift your arms up. Point your elbows to the ceiling. Lift the fronts of your shoulders up. And keep your hands off the floor as you start to coil your chest forward and up towards a cobra, a hands-free cobra. And so you feel that same fire behind the back of your heart. Then add your hands and pull with your hands back. If you didn't have a mat, you might slide forward. Perhaps you lift a little higher, but you can certainly stay low. On an exhale breath, child's pose. Push your hips back to your heels. Come forward through hands and knees. Breathe in, tuck your toes, downward dog, breathe out. Take your left leg up on your inhale and keep it there and get eyes on it. See that it's square, meaning your left toes and your left knee point down towards the floor. Now get your outer right hip in and send the top of your right thigh bone farther back and farther up. Can you lift your left leg a little higher on an inhale? And step all the way to your left thumb as you exhale. Lower your back knee, point your toes, and rise, Anjali Asana. Perhaps your palms press. Find the pulling of the base towards the center, particularly the back shin. so that really your back bend starts back there. Picture it traveling up your right shin, up your right thigh as you lift the front of your hips higher, up through your chest and up through your hands as you imagine that string attached from heart to hands going upwards. Last breath in. Lower your fingertips as you breathe out. Now step forward on your inhale right to a halfway lift. Fold forward as you exhale. Rise to stand. Inhale, lift your arms up at the top. Hook your thumbs the way that feels different. And lean left as you exhale, side bend. Stay and breathe deeply into your right side. Keep going to your left as you exhale. Rise through center, breathe in. And switch, exhale, go right. Full breath in and out. Now come up on your inhale to center and fold forward on your exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Right foot back, exhale, lower your knee, point your toes, rise. Inhale, Anjali Asana. Find the back bend starting even behind your right foot, traveling up through you, continuing on beyond you as you gaze up. Take an inhale breath, downward facing dog, step back, exhale. High plank, breathe in. Knees up or down, lower to the floor, breathe out. Now stay down there, but just point your toes and lift your arms and your hands, breathe in. Curl your chest up as you breathe out, and then land your hands, cobra, breathe in. Child's pose, breathe out. Hands and knees, inhale, rock forward, tuck your toes, exhale, down dog. Inhale the right leg up, stay square and straight. See that your kneecap points down. Bring your outer left hip in, and as you send the root of your left thigh bone back and up, make your left waist as long as your right. A little higher with your right leg, breathe in. Step forward, breathe out. Tap your back knee, point your toes, and rise. Anjali Asana, all the way up. Pick up your heart, pick up your hands, go up and go back. Breathe in. Lower your hands as you breathe out. Step forward, halfway lift. Breathe in. Fold and breathe out. Rise to stand. Inhale, hook your thumbs at the top. Lean to the right, exhale, side bend. Center, breathe in. And switch, breathe out. Center, inhale. Fold down, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Left foot back, exhale, lower the knee, point the toes, rise. Inhale, Anjali Asana. Downward dog as you exhale, step back. High plank, breathe in. Lower all the way to the floor, breathe out. Right into cobra pose, breathe in. Child's pose, breathe out. Hands and knees, breathe in, tuck your toes, down dog, breathe out. Lift your left leg, inhale. Step it forward, exhale, lower your back knee, point the toes and rise. Inhale, Anjali Asana. Hands down, exhale, step forward, halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Rise up, inhale, hook your thumbs at the top. Go left, breathe out. Rise center, breathe in. Go right, breathe out. Back to the middle, breathe in. Fold forward, breathe out. Lengthen, inhale. Right foot back, exhale, lower your knee and rise. Inhale, palms press, heart up, eyes up. Down dog, breathe out. High plank, breathe in. To the floor, breathe out. Cobra, breathe in. child's pose. Breathe out. Hands and knees. Inhale, tuck your toes. Down dog. Exhale. Right leg, inhale to the sky. Step forward. Exhale. Lower the back knee and rise. Inhale. Lower fingertips. Exhale. Step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold and breathe out. Rise to stand on your inhale. Lift your arms overhead. Press your palms in prayer over your head. Gaze up at your hands. And from your legs powering down through the floor, find a lift in the front of your hip bones, a descent of your sitting bones, a firming of your glutes as you lift your heart up towards an imaginary string in your hands and reach even higher. Urdhva Hastasana with a back bend. Take one more breath in, fold forward and breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Left foot back, exhale. Keep the back leg straight though. Step the right foot back, high plank, breathe in. Chaturanga, breathe out. As you move into an up dog, inhale, stay there. Bend your elbows slightly, and as your elbows point back, wrap your outer shoulders back with your inner hands rooted. And then work your arms towards straight, and as your heart goes forward, lift your thigh bones up and try to find the lengthening of your sitting bones to your heels. Downward facing dog, go up and over your toes and pause. If you feel compression in your lower back in up dog, stick with cobra. Let's use your inhale to lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step, or jump to your hands. Lengthen your spine and breathe in. Fold, take the backs of your hands to the floor for a little wrist stretch as you breathe out. And rise to stand on your inhale. Urdhva Hastasana, stay there. Find the same firming of the legs, anchoring the sitting bones down, lifting of the heart up, lifting of the hands up. One more breath in. Fold forward, breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. The left foot follows, high plank, breathe in. Chaturanga, breathe out. Upward dog, deep breath in, just the inhale this time. Downward facing dog, breathe out. And lift your heels, inhale. Bend your knees, load your springs, look forward, go on empty, up to your hands. Lengthen, breathe in. Wrist stretch, fold, breathe out. Rise to stand. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And then pull your hands to your heart as you exhale and pause. Take a breath in. Arms by your sides, breathe out. Take a wide stance, doesn't matter which way you step, and face the side of your mat. Bring your feet parallel, quite wide. Take your arms into that same robot shape with your elbows pointing back and your fingers pointing forward. And then firm your legs and feel your glutes tone as you anchor your seat down so that you're not creating the back bend just by sticking your bum out and overarching your lower back. Now imagine a wall behind you. Push your elbows back into an imaginary wall and lift your chest up. So it's that same feeling that you had when you were trying to lift off the block. And keep that, pull your elbows farther back. Then straighten your arms and reach your fingers to the floor and interlace your fingers. Put your right thumb on top of your interlacing. And as your knuckles go to the floor, lift your chest higher. Then see if you can lift your arms higher away from your back. So you work more shoulder extension. So arms away from your bum, away from your back. Keep your hands like this if possible and forward fold. You can certainly bend your knees. Drop your head like a big old weight, but lift your shoulders away from the floor and keep your collarbones wide. Let's bend your right knee and go into a little lateral lunge as your right knee bends, your left leg straightens. And then shift through center and go the other way. And then bring yourself to the center and pause. Bend your knees and think of reversing that. So back bend your way up. Come all the way up. Take your arms out wide into a T. Turn your right toes out, left toes in a little warrior two. Bend your front knee to a square and make your back leg really straight. As your legs go down, your spine goes up, your arms go wide. Then stay in warrior two, but float your arms up over your head and hook your thumbs up there. Give your thumbs a little pull apart. Get your arms around your ears if you can, and lift your arms up as extensions of your waist. See if you can do this without back bending. So pull your front ribs in and anchor your sitting bones down. And you'll keep this arm variation as you start to straighten your legs. Shift your hips back and angle forward towards a hovering triangle without going so far as to lose the right side of your waist. So no C curving in your back. Your waist and your arms are following the trajectory of your back leg, your left leg. So firm your left leg, firm your left glutes. And it should be a significant amount of effort, even though you're not even halfway or into the full Trikonasana. Different. Turn your ribs more to the left. Then on your inhale, rise back up. Warrior two, exhale, split your arms. As your right forearm comes to your right thigh, inhale your left arm up. Take your left arm over your ear as you exhale, spinning your left palm down, even your left pinky down. Some of you can take your right hand to the floor inside your right foot and press strongly your right arm into your leg and vice versa so that you have a little more leverage to spin. So go for a spin, twist your ribs more up, look up underneath your left arm, and then find your whole left side. Plug your left foot into the floor, and from the pressing of your left foot down, reach the left arm in the opposite direction. Now gaze down just to find your balance and come up through a warrior two. Keep your front knee bent. And then on an inhale, straighten your legs, lift your arms, switch your feet, right toes in, left toes out, warrior two, second side. Realign your feet. I prefer a heel to heel stance. Myself, and the back toes, remember to turn them in just slightly. Go low in your legs, get lofty in your spine, and get as wide as you can across your chest. Take your arms up, hook your thumbs the way that feels less familiar to you, and give your thumbs that little pull apart so your fingers fan wide. Find length in the back, length in the waist without back bending. So sitting bones down, front ribs in, arm bones back. Now you keep this arm variation as you start to straighten your left leg, shift your hips back and angle your torso. Think forward and up. So apart from your left leg, your bottom leg, you look a lot like Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute, but no back bend, ribs in. Now make your bottom waist longer. Get your arm bones back. And then as you inhale, come back up. Warrior two, split your arms and exhale. Forearm to thigh, inhale the right arm up. Take the right arm over your ear as you exhale. And if you did on side one, lower your left fingers down for side two. Press with your left arm into your left leg, but press your left leg back into your arm. So your left inner thigh is getting lengthened, but at the same time, you're trying to get it stronger by pushing the leg into the arm. Spin your ribs, look up under your right arm, and then elongate your whole right side. Gaze to the floor for balance, warrior two, bring yourself up. And then as you inhale, straighten your legs, lift your arms, parallel your feet as you exhale and robot your arms. Same thing. Firm your legs, point your elbows back, lift your chest up, and then straighten your arms and interlace your hands behind you with your left thumb on top this time. As your sitting bones go down and your chest goes up, lift your arms away from your back. More shoulder extension without your shoulders hiking up towards your ears. And then forward fold. Feel free to bend your knees again. Fold down. Let's go a little more dynamically. Go to the left, bend your left knee. Inhale to center, exhale, go to the right. Let's do that again. Inhale the middle, exhale, go left. Inhale center, last time, exhale right. Then come to the center as you breathe in. Put your hands on the floor as you exhale. Under your shoulders, come to a halfway lift. Breathe in. Turn to the front of your mat as you exhale. Pivot into a lunge, high plank. Step back, breathe in. Chaturanga, breathe out. Upward facing dog, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. 5 breaths. At the bottom of your next breath, look forward, step or jump to your hands. Lengthen, breathe in. Fold and breathe out. Rise to stand, inhale. Pull your hands to your heart and exhale. Heel toe your feet hip width apart if they're not already. Release your arms down by your sides. And with your feet hip width apart, Utkatasana chair pose. Lower your seat and lift your arms. Now because your feet are hip width apart, make sure your knees are as well. Make sure they're driving in their own lanes. Have a look down. And then as you look forward or even look up, see if you can shift your weight a little more back into your heels. Descend your lower body. Ascend through your upper body. Sharpen your arms. One more inhale breath. Fold as you exhale. Halfway lift. Breathe in. Left foot back. Breathe out. High lunge. Lift your arms up. Breathe in. Connect your palms in prayer up over your heart as you breathe out. Bend your back knee slightly so that you can find the lift in the front of the hip bones. And it's the same back bend as having the back knee down. So see it behind you, traveling up through you. Pick up your hands higher. Use that to pick up your heart higher and gaze up. One more breath in. As you lower your fingertips, straighten your right leg, pyramid variation. If you need blocks under your hands, use them. Flip up onto your right heel, so expose the sole of your right foot. And with your heel dug in, drag your heel back energetically until your hamstrings start to work as well as stretch. So your hamstrings right now in their longest position. You really want to build more strength in this position. Your hamstrings are weakest at their shortest and at their longest. And here you are at your end range of flexibility for your hamstrings. So work a little more strength here by pulling your heel back. Then as you inhale, bend your front knee so you can plant your palms, three-legged dog. As you exhale, right leg goes up. Start with it again, square. Then keep it up there, but do a hamstring curl. Bring your heel to your bum. So now you shorten your hamstrings by contracting them and trying to pull your heel to your bum. Imagine you had a block in between your heel and your bum, or a ball or a little grapefruit. You try to squish it. Another position where your hamstrings are weaker. If you'd like to open your hip, go ahead. But if you do so and your left hip swings way out, rein your left hip in. Keep pulling your heel to your bum. And then if you went open in the hips, come back to square, straighten your right leg, breathe in. Step your right foot halfway forward, just halfway as you breathe out. Then lean forward into your hands and lift your left leg. Plug your hands into the floor, claw with your fingerprints, look a little forward of your hands, start to bend your standing leg. Option to take a few little hamstring or a few little handstand hops. I'm going to add a little hamstring curl of trying to kick the right heel to the bum. Or you get a little hang time in a stag handstand and try to contract the back of your right leg. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Keep pushing the floor with your hands. I'll meet you in a down dog. You can go back through a vinyasa, or you can just step back to dog. And lift your heels, breathe in. Bend your knees, look forward, step or jump. Top of your mat, lengthen, breathe in. Fold, wrist stretch, breathe out. Stay down there, backs of the hands on the floor. Drop your head. If you'd like to, you can slide your hands underneath your feet. Get your toes to curl up, the back of your forearms. Let your head go. You can certainly have bent knees. Make sure your feet are hip width apart. Much easier for you to balance in this pose, Paschimottanasana, and also to set you up for your next transition. So if you got your hands under your feet, remove them. Back to chair pose. Bend your knees, reach your arms up. Utkatasana. Shins back, thighs back, seat low, and chest up. Straighten your arms as you can as extensions of your waist. One more breath in. Fold down and breathe out. Halfway lift. Inhale. Right foot back as you exhale. High lunge. Inhale, reach up. Press your palms together as you exhale. Bend your back knee slightly. And from your back leg, find the back bend. Go up. From the up, maybe you go back. And make sure there's no compression in your lower back. Take a final inhale. Lower your fingertips on your exhale. Straighten your left leg. Flip up onto your left heel. Block us under your hands as needed. Dig your heel in and drag your heel back and engage the back of your left leg in its longest position. And then as you breathe in, bend your front knee, plant your hands, three-legged dog as you breathe out. Left leg goes up. Start with it square, bend your left knee to the hamstring curl, and see if you can really contract the back of the left leg in the hamstring shortest position. Imagine you had a prop between your heel and your bum. Keep that. If you did on the first side, open your hips to the left without your right hip swinging out to the right. Your hands stay steady, elbows stay straight. Turn your left armpit down so the shoulders aren't turning. And then come back to square hips, straighten your left leg, take an inhale. Step halfway forward as you exhale. As you lean into your hands, lift your right leg. Set your hands, straighten your arms, set your gaze a little forward of your fingers. And as the right leg swings up and down, the left knee bends, or you take a little hop. Try to kick your heel to your bum. Or work the stag handstand of left knee bent, right leg straight. Inner thighs hug together. You're pushing the floor with your hands, going up through your right foot. Again, I'll meet you in a down dog. Move through vinyasa if you like. And then this time, take a child's pose. Lower your knees. Take your forearms back by your shins. Balasana, drop your head. Let the weight of your arms drop, the weight of your shoulders drop. And then slowly roll up to sitting on your heels. Take your fingertips to the floor behind your feet. Look down at your hips, and without back bending, lift your hips up. Just do hip extension. Find the glutes turning on as you send your sitting bones to the backs of your knees, and then bend your elbows slightly and find that same upper back extension of your shoulder blades, lifting your heart up. Feel all sides of your neck long, so there's no tossing of the head back. And then take an exhale to sit with the spine upright, hands in your lap or hands on your body. Close your eyes. Okay. Now you can either stay exactly as you are on your mat. If you'd like to use a wall for a couple of forearm stand variations, take the time to move your mat to the wall. You'll also need a block. If you don't have a block, find a book that's about the same width, or even hold a water bottle in between your hands. If you don't want to go upside down in forearm stand, you certainly don't have to. You'll, I think, really enjoy all the other things that I'm going to offer you on the way. So, face the front of your mat or face the wall if you've moved yourself. Take the block on its widest width and get the block right in between the heels of your hands. Take the tips of your elbows to the floor as wide as your shoulders, which is probably about the width of your block depending on your proportions and your props, of course. Then once you have your elbows on the floor, walk your knees back and melt your forehead down towards the floor in the direction of the floor as you point the block up to the ceiling. You could also be doing this in child's pose with your hips on your heels. This is certainly a bit deeper with my hips over my knees instead. And then play with the amount of elbow flexion. So see how much you can bend your elbows. You can probably, some of you, touch the block to your upper back. And then do the opposite. Slowly point the block up and begin to work the elbows as straight as they'll go, given the position that you're in. Your block can touch the floor. Then move through a few more passes slowly in that range of trying to bend your elbows to the max and straighten them to the max. What you'll probably feel is some asymmetries in the shoulders and the elbows as the block kind of wiggles side to side. That's normal. You're human. We're all asymmetrical. Just think about smoothing that out as much as you can. Now, if you just love this and you want to stay in this or pick a spot that feels nice for you, you certainly can. But otherwise, the next time the arms go towards straight and the block lands, keep the block down there as you lift your head and bring your shoulders forward over your elbows. My elbows migrated a little wider, so bring it in if that happened to you as well, so that your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Squeeze the block in your hands, and then one at a time, take your legs back into a forearm plank. Squeeze your legs together, because really that will mimic the most what you'll be, some of you, doing upside down in a moment. So squeeze your legs and firm your glutes like crazy. Pull your elbows back energetically, pull your toes forward, and get your head up so you're looking towards the block or in between your wrists. Then walk your feet forward and do dolphin. And you can simply press your chest back to your thighs. That feels really nice to get more opening in the shoulders. But those of you who want to go upside down, bring your shoulders over your elbows without taking them past your elbows. Gaze between your forearms. Walk your feet in a little closer, as close as your hamstrings will allow, and lift your right leg. And as your right leg bends, bend your bottom knee. And you can work either just kicking up to the wall, or you can work that same little stag kick where you try to do a little hamstring curl. On this side, it's with your left leg. Keep pushing the floor, squeezing the block, hugging the midline, and going up to the ceiling or up to the wall. When you need a little break, lower. You can rest in child's pose. I like to sit up to rest to get my head back above my heart, but it's totally up to you. If you came up to sit, a little broadening across the chest feels nice, a really low effort back bend. And then come back for the second side. Important to even yourself out if you're kicking up and doing both legs. Grab the block in your hands, lower your forearms. We'll skip all the first steps, but if that's what you want to stay with today, feel free to pick one or two of those. Line your elbows up under your shoulders, tuck your toes, and lift up dolphin. Bring your shoulders over your elbows, look between your forearms, walk your feet in, lift your left leg this time. Keep your hips square as you bend your right knee and play with those little hops, a little frog hop, a hamstring curl hop of bringing your heel to your bum, or you can also work both legs up if you'd rather and squeeze your legs together. And as you push your forearms down, imagine your feet being able to touch the ceiling. Then you just come down as you're ready. And again, child's pose, arms by your shins, or sit. If you're in child's pose, roll up to sitting, eyes closed. Get your head back above your heart, your right side up. And then come to standing up on your shins. Grab the block. Like you did at the very beginning of the practice, place the block right in the center of the sternum, or you just have hands in prayer, heels of the hands at the sternum. Crawl the fingers up to the other edge of the block, the one that's not touching your sternum. And then first find your legs. So firm your legs, anchor your sitting bones down so your glutes are turned on. And then without losing any of the space in your lower back, curl your heart up into the block and find the gentle pressure of your fingers on the block so your elbows can point back. So you get some resistance to lift your heart up into, so that you're using the strength in your upper back to open across your chest. You can stick with this or lift the block up on an inhale and take it behind your head as you exhale. And then imagine you still had a block at your heart. Lift up there as your head is supported by the other block behind you. Draw your elbows in. And breathe deeply into the front of the body. On an inhale, come up to vertical, lift the arms, lift the block, and as you exhale, sit, put the block to the side or sit on it, close your eyes, let your body absorb that. Then as you open your eyes, turn yourself around. So shift your hips to one side, turn yourself around so that you lie down on your back with your head facing the front of your mat. Bend your knees and take the soles of your feet to the floor, hip width and parallel. Bring your arms close to your sides and then do robot arms. Now, without even thinking about a back bend yet, very first thing is going to be the lift of your hips, the engagement of your legs. So before you even arch the back a little bit, push your feet down, push your arms down, and use your leg strength to lift your bum up. Do a glute bridge or a hip bridge, and think about your hips as the highest part of this. And then send your sitting bones towards the backs of your knees, so that your glutes turn on. Pull your feet energetically to your shoulders. Use your hamstrings. Keep that as you push your elbows down and pop your chest up. Tuck your shoulders underneath of you. And then straighten your arms and lace your hands beneath you. Keep your head in one spot. Press gently the back of your skull into the floor. And as if when you were standing with your hands laced behind your back and lifting your arms higher, this orientation, you push your arms into the ground and add that leverage to lift your chest higher. But still think of the hips as the peak of your pose. So lift your hips high as you can. Let's put that all in a slow-mo reverse. Unlace your hands, widen your upper back, and roll first down your top back, your middle back, your lower back, and then land your bum. Take your feet as wide as your mat, knock your knees in. Rest your arms anywhere. Rest your eyes. Then reset your feet the same. Reset your arms the same. Without back bending, do a hip bridge. Lift your bum. Lift your hips and send your sitting bones to your knees. Pull your feet to your shoulders and then extend your upper spine. You can either do the same thing and do arms straight for bridge, or take your hands by your ears. Draw your elbows in so they're shoulder width, and come onto the top of your head for a moment. Bring your elbows in again. Reignite your legs. Roll more to your forehead, and then push up straight arms. Press your chest back past your hands. Relax your head. You'll be more spacious if you lift your heels. So if you need that, lift your heels up. And still think of your hips as the highest part. Use your legs. Tailbone to your knees. Heart the opposite direction. You stay as long as you want to up here. When you're ready to come down, tuck your chin, lower back of your skull. Back of the shoulders, roll down, upper back, middle back, lower back, land your bum. Widen your feet, knees in, rest. All right, one more time. Reset your footing. Reset your robot arms. Hip bridge, go ahead, lift up. Push your arms down, pop your chest up. Again, you're doing bridge or you're doing wheel. Set your hands, elbows in. Come to the top of your head, elbows in again, roll to your forehead, press up. Urdhva Dhanurasana. Feel your 4 pieces of contact, hands and feet like prongs in an electrical socket. And as you plug in, you get a charge. And that charge travels all the way through you. The current is your breath, so keep breathing deep. Stay as long as you like. You know the way out. It's the opposite of the way in. So take your time as you're ready. Same meeting spot. Be still. Leave your feet as wide as your mat. Open your knees slightly and just drop both knees over to the right. And then back through center and over to the left. Do that one more time each side. And bring your legs back to center. Bring your feet a little closer together. Cross your right thigh over your left thigh, like the top half of eagle, or as if you were sitting cross-legged in a chair. Do Gomukhasana on the back. Bring the knees in and grab hold of the knees, or the shins, or the ankles, or even the feet. If this is too much, do figure 4, right ankle over the left thigh. If you've got your feet, flex your ankles. It'll be easier for you if you bend your knees more, so heels closer to your bum. It'll be deeper for you if you open your knees closer to 90 degrees. Your call. Use your hands to pull your feet off to the side so you get a tighter wrap in the middle. And then your head and shoulders should easily be down. Get your lower back towards the floor. Think about your bum touching the floor. And then wrap your outer right hip forward. You're welcome to stay in the center. You can move it a little bit. Little tiny circles might feel nice, or rock. And then as you release your hands, untangle it, happy baby. Grab the outer feet or grab your shins or your ankles. Again, try to get the length of your back on the floor, to your low back, to your bum. Center or a little rock. And release, land your feet. Other side, take your left thigh, cross it over your right thigh. Top half of eagle, or you're doing ankle to knee, left ankle to right knee. If you're doing Gomukhasana, grab your knees, your shins, your ankles, your feet, whatever is reachable. If you have your feet, flex your ankles. Find the appropriate angle of opening for your knees, closer to 90 if you want more. Steer your outer left hip forward, heavy your bum, and feel free to move. Release your hands, happy baby. If you're interested in a different variation, instead of holding your outer feet, take your hands on the insides of your feet and cup your heels in your palms. And from there, you can turn your toes out a little farther. You could even take your elbows and press your inner knees wider like you would in a squat. And again, try to get the length of your back on the floor, heavy your bum. You can stay right there, or if it's interesting to you, you can rock to one side, and as you rock to that side, you can straighten that leg. You can do that side to side, or some of you might even like to straighten both of your legs, like if you were in a seated fold, Upavishta Konasana, legs in a V. then start to bring your legs closer together. So your legs, your feet would be hip width if you were standing or sitting. Grab the backs of your thighs or the backs of your calves. Now let your back round. So let your bum curl up, your lower back as well. And with bent knees, find a forward fold on your back. I'm going to wrap my arms behind my calves and loosely lace my hands. So it feels as though you're going in the direction of a plow pose. If you'd rather do a seated forward bend, you certainly can. If you love plow and there's no issues for your neck, feel free, or if you know how to prop yourself with a blanket or two, do that. But otherwise, just mimic a Paschimottanasana on your back, which is what I'm doing with the feet hip width, the knees bent. The knees are pretty much nestled into my armpits so that my belly fits my thighs. I'm folding fully into hip flexion, fold at the front of the hip creases. And you can certainly stay here as long as you like in this forward folding shape. When you're ready to move on, and by move on, I mean move to the end, loosen the grip on your legs. Slide your hands to your backs of your thighs if they're not there. And as you let your bum lands, bend your knees. Land your feet on the floor one at a time. Slip your legs all the way out. Adjust yourself so that you have space on your mat and out to the sides. Give your legs a little shake, a little flop of the legs in and out. Try to get really jiggly in your legs so your muscles loosen the grip of the bones. And the next time the legs flop out, leave them there. Press gently the back of the head down, push the elbows down, and with maybe 10% of the effort that you've been doing, lift your upper back, do a little back bend just to pull your shoulder blades down your back. And then land the upper back on the floor with this subtle little hint of a lift of your heart. Lengthen the back of the skull away from the upper back. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose. And just watch the breath. See it traveling all the way down into the ends of you, fingers and toes. And then exhale completely. And think of this as one final sweep through the body. Inhale, the breath traveling through your entirety, sweeping, combing out anything that you're ready to release, and it just goes on your exhale. And one last time, inhale, sweep the interior of your house of a body. Get into every last little corner and then sweep everything out the door as you exhale. And let go of your breath now that you've let go of your body. And give yourself permission to rest, to be effortless, to be still. And embrace the support of the ground. Embrace the intelligence of the easy, natural breath that knows exactly what to do. Let it breathe you. Just open yourself again to a deep breath. And before anything else moves, tune into the movement of breath, the way that the body expands on inhale, softens, releases on exhale. And begin to move your fingers and your toes. Be sensitive to the way the body feels after practice. Let's take a big stretch. Reach your arms up over your head. Reach your legs in the opposite direction. Deep breath in, put some effort to your reach. And as you exhale, drop. One at a time, bend your knees, land your feet. Roll over to your side, use the arm there as a pillow. And then as you're ready to come up, press yourself into a comfortable seat. Sit however you like. Let's join your palms together. Connect the base of your sternum with the base of your thumbs. With, again, the smallest little effort, lift your heart up into your thumbs. Then bow your head to your heart. Let's exhale together. And take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, release the breath out. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.